Welcome to NHL Nightly on Hot Take Hockey with your host, Jeremiah Maxwell, a.k.a. the Sports Beard. Along with Pearlo Wisdom, the NHL handicapper extraordinaire. And Rico and Pearlo, goal-scoring prop dynamo.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to NHL Nightly. I'm your host, Jeremiah Maxwell. With me, as always, maybe Rico and Barry, goal-scoring prop dynamo, and Pearlo Wisdom, no longer of Edmonton, now grandfather, handicap extraordinaire. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. Real good.
So I wanted to spend some time talking about this article I read from Mike Russo that was actually like a polling of agents and players of the top teams and this, that, and the other. And we're not going to have time to do that because a bunch of news broke in the NHL tonight. Adam Fox on LTIR for the New York Rangers. We're going to start right there. I'm not going to say it's going to affect the New York Rangers' chances of making the playoffs, but I think it's going to affect the New York Rangers' chances of making the playoffs. They don't have the defensive depth to help. And say what you want to about Adam Fox's play in the Four Nations face-off. He is, yes, Sod said Sod. Oh, we lost Rico. Sod misses you, Rico, and you're gone already. All right. But it looks like he's going to be out for a while. So that's going to be a tough one. I don't know what that does to the playoff race. How are you feeling, Pearlo?
Well, I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs anyways, but now absolutely not. I hear a lot of Rangers fans getting on about Fox and stuff like that. I mean, that guy's
Johnny Lazarus went off today on Morning Cup of Coffee, kind of destroyed him for it. I think, to be fair, Adam Fox is not the problem there. I think they've got other issues. I think he's still a very good defenseman. It's a tough situation. So, yeah. The other news is Ottawa got smoked tonight by Winnipeg. It wasn't close, 4-1. They desperately missed Brady Tkachuk, Josh Norris, and Shane Pinto. They have got to be healthy up the middle to be competitive. And I hate to say this, but they're going to miss the playoffs. They're in the same boat as the Rangers, 58 games. I'm going to pull this up. Hopefully we get Rico back. That was untimely there. But here is the standings for the Eastern Conference. And let me make this viewable to you guys. So you can see the wild card ranks right there. Close. But look at the goal differential. To me, Detroit's probably okay because of where they're at with points. I think Columbus is going to make it. They're getting healthy at the right time. So,
yeah, I'm on. You know me, I've been on Columbus for a while now. I really think they're going to make it. Ottawa's just had untimely injuries now. It's really looking rough for them. It's too bad though. It kind of makes you feel bad because they did such a good job in that just before the break. They gave her really good. Like they were doing that one road trip. They look fantastic, and I think they've got a great future ahead of them and a great upside. But I'm with you. I don't think they're going to be able to make it. I think they're going to have to unfortunately limp into the.
So we have to address I Want a Sandwich. I Want a Sandwich. Great name. Love it. The internet is a lot quieter now that the Sens are on a losing streak. And I don't know what. Yeah, they've lost 5 in a row. Just not good. Tough.
Yeah, I had friends that were on Ottawa today, and I'm like, I don't know where you're getting that, dude. Like,
well, just with the guys they had out, I don't know how you could be on them.
I don't know either. I was on Winnipeg.
That's 11 in a row, by the way, for the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah.
So if you want to see the West standings, the Winnipeg Jets are going to be the number 1 seed in the West, and they're going to win the President's Trophy.
It looks
they're
like
going to
the
win.
first time, I think, in their league history, wouldn't it be? I'm sure it was the first time.
Well, I'm guessing that that's correct. Mitch Hudson said the Jets are just too good. And he says, what a wagon, go Jets go. And I got the Winnipeg Jets jersey up there to celebrate them. We should, and you should celebrate that team, Mitch. You should enjoy it. And, I think it'll be anything less than going to the Stanley Cup final will be a major disappointment for Winnipeg. They've been the best team all year for sure. I can positively say that as a Washington Capitals fan. If they ended up tied, I think Winnipeg beat them in both meetings. So I think they would hold the head-to-head and win the President's Trophy anyway. Because Washington's right there with like 85 points or 80. They're at 84 points. So there you go. Well, there are your standings. If the standings stay the way they are right now, you would have the Maple Leafs playing the Columbus or the Detroit Red Wings in the first round, and you would have the Washington Capitals playing the Columbus Blue Jackets, which I actually think is probably a tougher matchup for Washington than maybe even Detroit.
I agree. Yeah. That one's kind of scary for Washington.
But look at their goal differential. I mean, the one thing I would say is Detroit doesn't score a lot, but they let a lot in. But the Blue Jackets let a lot in too. So,
yeah. I heard from one article I was reading that they're really behind the scenes. They're trying hard to improve that goaltending before the deadline, but I don't know how they would go about doing that.
Who?
Maybe that's a Gibson spot there.
Everything good, Rico? We good? What? Everything?
Yeah.
Good?
Sorry, my computer decided to do an update.
No worries. You got to get those updates in. So we were just talking, Rico. The big news was that Adam Fox was on LTIR. Where we have a plethora of trade rumors going on. So I do want to encourage you guys to go read on the New York Times, or I think the Athletic, Mike Russo, and another. Let me see if I can find it. I'll try to find it. There's a new feature too. We can share photos on this, just the photo. So I'm going to try that out. That's going to be interesting. We'll see how that goes.
I brought that up a couple nights ago, last time on my show, about Adam Fox's play at the Four Nations, and I can't remember who I heard it from, but it sounded like he was playing hurt too. So it's not a surprise to hear that coming out.
Well, I can tell you, Team USA is definitely coming out of the bet on the worst side of that, whether they won or not. They had lots of injuries because both Kachucks are out. Quinn Hughes didn't even make the Four Nations. It's
or that could have been Vancouver saying, we know who our allegiance is with. Let's just hold. Well, you hear Brady Tkachuk on the Spit and Chicklets say that.
Yeah, I did hear him say that, and here's what I'll say. I think that's probably not the case, because didn't Quinn Hughes not play against Vegas? So if he'd have played against Vegas, I'd have been real suspect about that. Yes, McAvoy. Thank you, Johnny Gaudreau, forever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hughes being out for even this game tonight, so obviously there was something going on with him.
If you trade coaches, how much? I don't know what you're asking here, Brandy. I'm Brando Tolari. Sorry, my friend. Don't know what you're asking there, man. I might have to clarify. Kind of off the. No, we didn't roast Vergs. We didn't roast the New York Rangers. We just kind of were talking about the fact that it looks like Adam Fox is going to be out, and I think it's going to be an uphill battle. And Keandre Miller got hurt too. I didn't see a status update for him, but it does look like there's going to be, the Rangers are going to have an uphill battle. You can't miss. They definitely can't have Keandre Miller, and say what you want to about him. He's a serviceable defenseman, and Adam Fox out of their lineup. That's a tough look for them. So it is what it is. But anyway, Winnipeg Jets are a wagon. We know that's happening. And, there's a lot of teams devastated by injuries. And I like what Fire D3 says. Do we think Vancouver makes any move? I heard they're still looking at maybe trading Pettersson before the July 1st. So even after the season, they may move on from Pettersson. Which, I mean, there's got to be some injury stuff there, right? Like, you can't just go. That guy looked so good.
I don't know. You people are like, "Hey, wait till he gets to the Four Nations. You know, he'll get his game together and stuff, playing with his countrymen." And then all of a sudden, that didn't happen. And you're playing Pedersen, and that's your number one center. You're paying over $11 million. Like, you got to get this guy figured out.
Yeah. I agree, Rico. I agree 100%. I don't know. Yeah, Brando, I don't know that I would trade for a head coach. You see that in the NFL from time to time. I like John Cooper. I think he's a great coach. I think he's probably going to be in Tampa as long as they want to be. In that article, Tampa won a lot of the front office is good, and the teams that got killed are teams that are not doing well. But I kind of disagreed. Anaheim got destroyed, and I've heard Pat Verbeek not great to deal with. But you can't argue with the talent they have there, and they're starting to win games. So if you want to say, maybe a lot of you guys aren't old enough to remember Pat Verbeek and his play. That guy didn't cheat on, 200-foot game, very good goal scorer, off his nails. I believe he cut his fingers off and played.
His visor was down to there. Like, he was a hard-nosed player. Like,
he was one of my faves. And he wasn't even that tall, but he was just played like a freaking bull. He was a good player.
I like this comment. Jim says, I saw the Red Wings game in Vancouver, and Hughes was in no shape to play. Vancouver protecting their best player. Can you imagine if Hughes played in the Four Nations and missed the rest of the season? Yeah, I don't know that he would have missed the rest of the season for playing in the Four Nations. I think his style of play would have benefited him. He doesn't have to play physical to be effective. But we'll see. It's a scary time for teams. You don't really want to lose significant players, but that's what's happening. And look, before the Four Nations, Miro Heiskanen, we've got teams missing really good players. So we could say what we want to. The Four Nations was very good for the capital H in hockey. I think we all have to be happy. Yeah, that's right, Ace Space. Little ball of hate, Patty Verbeek. Your ball. I would tell you that I want a sandwich. I think Pat Verbeek played with more edge than Brad Marchand ever did. So that's the kind. That's really the kind of guy he was on the ice. I very much would have loved to have had that guy on my team any day.
Absolutely.
Oh, Jim says Hughes is playing tonight in this Vancouver game. Is that a fact?
Yeah, apparently he is now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently he is.
So is Doughty in too? Did we get bad information? What's going on there?
It was such bad, even even Sportsnet, I think, said Hughes was out. I don't know what happened. He was out and now he's in. So it was, I don't know if it was bad information or he just said, screw it, I'm going to go or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, he's playing. He's already skated a minute 40 tonight. Hold on. Sorry. That game in the U.S. is on True TV or TNT. That's their lone evening game. I believe you guys had a doubleheader in Canada, right? So I'm guessing this is the doubleheader part of the Canucks. The other game is Colorado, New Jersey. New Jersey's on the power play, but that's going to expire. Only 1 second left. Colorado up 1-0 with 1:36 left. New Jersey's got to get on the winning ways too, guys. That might be what keeps the Rangers in the mix because New Jersey they've won. They're 6-4 in their last 10. Not awful. Still very good. Plus 36, 50, 59 games played. That's a thing. They've played more games than anybody else in the East. 32 wins, 21 losses, but they're only at 70 points. So, that's not a huge lead over the Columbus Blue Jackets, but it's probably enough to secure that third spot. I think it's between them and Carolina. Boy, Carolina better get going too. They've lost 2 in a row. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. So, yeah, I'm not sad to see Q's playing Jim. I think Vancouver absolutely has to try to play him because right now they are not in a playoff spot. So they need him in the lineup. They really probably have to win this game. And I hate to say it. I know, Pearlo, you were on the Kings tonight. The Kings have been playing real well. So I would really be nervous if I was a Vancouver Canucks fan. That being said, Okay, well, we're going to have a light show tonight because we have a lot of games to preview. If anything pops up and you guys want to ask in the chat. Oh, well, here we go. Jack Doe already. Jake Doe. Hey, guys, question for you. Is there any way I can get a hold of YouTube? Do they have an email I can use to write them? I have a tech issues. I believe there is a way you could do it, Jake, but I don't know how to do it. Yeah, Jim, I hope you... Jim, I will say I really would love to see your Red Wings make the playoffs. I think of the teams in the NHL, they need to make the playoffs probably more than any team out there. But I will say I heard a lot of people in that article, it references that they don't believe the Yzer plan. A lot of that's from agents. I have to tell you, I disagree. I think they've got to figure it out. So I want to remind everybody tomorrow we're live 10 p.m. Eastern. Twisted Wrister Hockey's going to come on. He's going to talk a little San Jose Sharks because he's a big Sharks fan. He's from that area. He lives in Idaho now, but and we can find out how his dog is doing. I know he had to have surgery for his dog, Cortana, so hopefully she's doing good there. So, Ace has a question. He says, "What do you guys think the Wild would do? Rossi isn't signed yet. I think they're going to go after Brock Nelson, Ace. I think that's probably one of their targets. And he's a Minnesota kid. But again, is Lou going to trade? Boy, they got to, don't they? The Islanders are bad. The only team that's worse than the Islanders and the Sabres is the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Pittsburgh Penguins have the worst win percentage in the Eastern Conference at .458. Man.
And if you're the Wild, you keep Rossi. You got cap room coming. You might even be able to add. I don't get Rossi. That kid is good.
I think it depends on what they're trying to get, right? Rico, he's an RFA, right? So they can get him a little more cost controlled. I think if they could keep him around 4.5, probably that's where he should be anyway, in my opinion. He's a good dynamic player, but he's not a $6 or $7 million guy yet. So yeah, Jim, it breaks my heart.
He's been playing top line center while Eriksson Ek's been gone. So he's been asked to do a lot in Minnesota this year. So he's done fairly well. But yeah, definitely not at that number.
Josh has got a trade for you guys. And yeah, Johnny Gaudreau. So Johnny Gaudreau forever. Real quick, before we do Josh's, I think Jonathan Taves comes back next year. But if he could come back this year, I don't think he's going to really mount too much. I think he needs a full off season to kind of get back going. I do think he's got his health stuff worked out, and I would love to see him come back because he was a great player, and I hope he plays for the Winnipeg Jets. But we'll see. Maybe
he's a quiet guy. Nothing leaks in his circle.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've seen about him.
Right. And Brian says, what do you think about Anders Lee to the Wild? I don't think we're going to see Lou. We're not going to know anything till trade deadline day with them for sure. So Josh says, what do you think of this trade? Predators acquired Jesse Ylonen from Tampa Bay in exchange for Anthony Angelo.
That already happened. That was a trade.
That trade happened?
Yep. Yeah, that happened today. I think that's why.
Oh, that happened today? I missed that trade. I missed that then.
Yeah, Ylonen, I mean, they're having trouble with center. They're going to give him a good shot there in Nashville and see what he can do. But he hasn't been able to stick anywhere. Montreal, I think he was.
I mean, that feels like an AHL move right now. I haven't
pretty
even
much
noticed.
Is, but I think they will give him a shot up in the NHL. One more shot, his final shot. See what he can do. Yeah. So. But yeah, there's not too many centers out there. Brock Nelson seems to be really the only one I could think of that they could get, and whether they'd sign him after that.
Dylan Cousins, if he moves, but he's playing really well for the Sabres now. I don't know how you can give up on these players that are so young. The Sabres aren't going to have cap problems, so I just think if I'm the Sabres, I just hold pat and not. I mean, I think you got to move Bo and Byram. You got to move Byram, or you got to decide on whether you're keeping Power, right? And to me, you trade Byram. Power's got more upside, right? I mean, if you're Craig Adams, what do you guys think, Rico Pearlo?
Yeah, all I'm saying is keep an eye on these teams coming out of the break. This has been a couple weeks where teams are resetting. You got Tampa's on fire now. Winnipeg's on a win streak. Montreal's won a little bit in a row. Are they going to think that they want their players getting a little bit of meaningful games down the stretch. So that's what I'm intrigued to just see these teams coming out of the break and how they've had some rest. And God love the Caps, man, for having nobody at the Four Nations coming back. And I like the Caps.
Montreal didn't have much either, though. Montreal didn't have much, though, right? They just had Line A, and that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did they have anybody else? Cole Caulfield didn't make Team USA. Lane Hudson didn't make Team USA. They both will probably be on the Olympic roster next year because it'll be a much bigger roster. But, I mean, Montreal didn't have much. And then we heard the Joe Armia, Jake Evans thing. Looks like they're far apart on signing Jake Evans. Yep, Andrew, we know the Leafs will be doing something for sure, too. I loved what Gord Stellick said today. By the way, I enjoy him. That guy has a wealth of experience. He's very good on Kipper and Bourne. I enjoy
Kipper
it.
Gives him a few shots too about his itch cream or whatever on the shows.
That's not
right. He's on Sirius Radio all the time too.
Yeah, I think he works for the NHL too. He was at the Hall of Fame doing the media row, covering the media row from the radio. They're just interviewing people and stuff, which I thought was so cool. Like, it's just so cool. Anyway, I think he's great. The guy's a great ambassador for the game, and I love what he said. Yep, the Oilers reclaimed Travis Dermott from the Wild. All right, there you go.
Yeah,
I think Brian. I would say Brian. I think when they waived Dermott, I think when the Wild picked him up, they had lost Middleton. Spurgeon has been out most of the year again. He cannot stay healthy, and I think Faber was banged up too. So I mean, to be quite frank, the Wild have been missing Kaprizov all year, and all they've done is just stay in the top three of the Central. I have to give them so much credit. So I've been really impressed with them. All right. We're not going to talk about any more trades because we have 12 games to talk about tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to get into that because we're going to have a little bit shorter show tonight. Sorry, I'm waiting for my computer to load. So first game of the night, Islanders Bruins. There's a real barn burner that I will not tune into with 12 games on tomorrow. And the favorite is, I guess, Boston at -108. I like the Islanders here, to be quite frank.
Yeah, I already posted this up on my Twitter. For some reason, these two teams go over all the time, like all the time. And it doesn't really make sense, but I'm going to throw the over 5.5, and I agree with you. I got a little lean on the Islanders as well.
Yeah, I'll do that too. I mean, I was golfing with the fellas in the indoor facility last night, and at the end of the second period, the Leafs were down 3-1. We're like, let's all just throw $50 on the Leafs to come back in this game. We could have made some pretty good money, but we didn't pull the trigger on it. And I mean, how didn't throw? We should, we should have, and we could all had a very, very good night. But
this is what scares me. Go ahead, Rico.
No, I'm just going to say, how's Boston come back from this?
Well, this is what scares me about Toronto in some ways, because they got down 3-0 to a team who's missing Charlie McAvoy and Hampus Lindholm. What's going on there? Like, how are they not winning this game? They should have been up 3-0. You know,
it's the TD Garden Demons, man.
I mean, the good news is Boston-born likely ain't making the playoffs, so you won't have to play them.
I hate the goal song. I hate everything about playing in Boston.
Did you see Jay Baruchel on what? By the way, Vancouver just scored. Let me make sure who this is. I think this might be a Rico goal scoring prop. Is this a Rico goal scoring prop? Oh no, Hoagland.
Who do we get?
Hoaglander. I thought it was.
God,
I
took DeBrusk because he scored two goals in 2 games in a row, but I was looking at Hoaglander too because he's on that top line with DeBrusk and Pettersson.
It might actually be Sherwood. Sherwood might have deflected this. So I don't know. This looks like it could be Sherwood. Ooh, no, I think this is Hoaglander's goal. Either way, it could be Hoaglander or Sherwood. Anyway, I like Sherwood's been a real nice ad for them. Good job getting rid of him, Nashville. You sure could have used him in goal scoring. The other thing I saw was Ottawa's like 31st in goal scoring. They just got to figure it out. All right, next game, and this will be a significant one. The nice thing is it's an early game. So when Twisted Wrister comes on, we got Sharks and Canadians. Sharks are plus 180. What do you think?
The Habs are coming off 2 big wins out of the gate here. Like I said
They'd be
earlier,
good teams too.
Yeah, and coming out of the break, I think they're just trying to get their team to play some meaningful games down the stretch here. The Sharks are in a downward spiral a bit. They've lost a ton in a row, so it's Habs or nothing here. Probably Habs in regulation, especially at home.
Yeah, I wouldn't even bet the Habs at minus 218. I'd take the Sharks at plus 1.5 just to see, you know. Yes, Derek S. Twisted Wrister will be on the show tomorrow, so we'll welcome him because it'll be good to have him on. Where are you thinking, Pearlo? You touching this game?
I'll take the Canadians in regulation too. Any team that's super focused on beating the Sharks are probably going to win. So I'll take the Canadians in regulation.
Well, and remember too, the Sharks traded CC and Granlund. Those guys were actually playing solid for them. That's tough. Good move by them getting a first round pick and stuff. But those are 2 NHLers you traded off your team, and that helps Dallas with depth for sure too. All right. Yeah. Flames Lightning. Now Lightning have been on a little bit of a tear here, and I liked the Flames game. They blocked a lot of shots against the Capitals. I didn't think they were particularly sharp. I thought Washington kind of played down a little bit, but I don't hate the Flames at plus 185 here. This is a lot of games for a lot of teams, but Lightning are back. I think they're the Stanley Cup contender. I think if they add 1 piece or 2, they're going to be interesting. What do you think?
I'll go ahead here. Tampa 6 in a row. I mean, the team's rolling. There's Cooper's back from the Four Nations. Sorelli, he went on with Jeff Merrick, and like this team seems to be gelling. They're going the right direction. It's a tough spot, man. I mean, it's a West Coast, East Coast team.
They had a lot of guys in the Four Nations that didn't have any problems.
Yeah.
Point looked good. Hagel looked good. Sorelli was good. Victor Hedman was good. Like, if Russia would have played, Vasilevsky probably would have been their starter. They were good. So I don't think – yeah. Where are you at with this, Pearlo? You walking away from this?
Last I saw, it was Vladar again in for Calgary. What's going on with Wolf? I don't understand.
He might be banged up. I don't know. He might
be
banged up.
Vladar, I have no. And by the way, left wing lock, which is usually my go-to goaltender thing, it's been all down all day. So I don't know what's going on.
I can take a look at daily faceoffs.
Daily faceoff, yeah, I know, but anyways, it doesn't matter. If that's Vladar, I gotta go with Tampa Bay and team total over or something like that.
Ooh, Adam Kerr going to the outdoor game Saturday. That's a huge game, by the way. The good news is both those teams are in a wild card now. So if you're both teams, you probably want to go to overtime and get a point. Like, that's the best case scenario for both teams. But that's a huge game for both teams. I love that, Adam. That's awesome. I hope it's awesome, man. I wished I was going. That's something I'd like to be going to on a regular basis.
What's everybody's prediction in the chat for Tampa, Calgary? They don't play each other too often.
Jim likes the Tampa 4-2. He's giving us scores.
Sounds about right. I mean, Vladar played good in Washington.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. I don't think they challenged him a lot. It looks like Vladar they got on the top there. Maybe, you know what, Pearlo, maybe they're shopping Vladar and they're trying to get him some starts.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
But Calgary's in a playoff spot right now, so maybe they just feel like maybe they're trying to give Wolf a little bit more of a rest. This being his full, is this his, or was last year his first full year? He was kind of a Calder finalist, or is this year? I think this year this is his first year, is it not? As a goalie, this is his first year in the NHL as a full-time goalie. So they're probably just trying to not give him too many starts. So Chad Carriere says, I hope I said that right, Chad. He likes 5-3 Lightning with Kucherov with a hat trick. That's good. I love that. If that comes to fruition, man, I hope you bet that.
That'll pay well.
And Sod likes Tampa. Yep, he likes Tampa.
I'm trying to find reasons to take Calgary because I love the way they play, but
the plus 185 is a big enough reason for me. But anyway, and they did me a solid by beating my Caps because I thought they would. Okay, Oilers, Panthers. Panthers look great. Won the game against Oilers do not look good. I don't know. Do they put it together against the Panthers here?
I'm not betting on them to do that until I see.
I can't believe the Panthers aren't favorites.
Last year they had the same thing after the break. It's just the same as beginnings of seasons, beginnings of anything for the Oilers.
This looks way different, Pearlo. They are not playing team defense at all. Like at all. There's a lot. The only guy that looks the two guys that are scoring goals besides Draisaitl are Brown, Corey Perry and Jeff Skinner, and they scratched Jeff Skinner for the last game. So Sod likes the Panthers. Jim Johnson likes the Panthers.
All right, I'll take
the Panthers until
Spencer Knight going to start. Spencer Knight's going to start.
Yeah, I'll take the Oilers here. Losing 4 straight. They couldn't win this building in Game 7 last year. I think this is a get-right game for the Oilers to go into Fort Lauderdale.
I thought maybe I would be with you on that one, but you said Spencer Knight's going to be in? Oh,
yep.
I'm taking Florida for sure. They play way different in front of Spencer Knight. I think Spencer Knight's almost taking the crease. He's playing so well. So
yeah, I'm banning any talk about Nick Robertson being traded on this show, Josh, because I'm so sick of hearing his name. And they're not going to trade him. He's scoring goals for them. And I just think it'll be a tough move. There are other guys they want to move out over Nick Robertson. I guarantee it. I think Berube likes him. He's doing well for the Leafs. I don't trade him. He's played really well. I thought he's been good for the Leafs. I have nothing negative to say there.
Funny, Benoit, the defenseman for Toronto in scrimmage and practice, he's taken a couple hits from Robinson, and he's so short and kind of got that center of gravity. And I think Berube is kind of telling him to just kind of finish your checks a little bit. You're a little bit shorter, a little bit stocky, and like you're a bit of a punching bag.
He's a little tank.
Benoit said that he's kind of hits pretty hard, so. I think,
I'm not worried about his game. I think Berube was the right coach for that guy. I think Sheldon Keefe just didn't like him. I think he should have been playing in the NHL the last couple of years. I think if you have a guy that could put the puck in the net on a regular basis, you need him in your lineup because you need guys that can score. So, that's what it is. And I think they'll keep him. I think they're trying to get rid of guys like Cam for other guys on that team that I could see him trading Bobby McMahon over him because somebody might want to take a flyer on Bobby McMahon, honestly. But that's if they're bringing something significant in, Rico. So, that's, again, we'll spend all day talking about the Leafs. We're going to have plenty of Leafs trade discussions and stuff. Okay, the next game, Blues Capitals. Yeah, Blues are plus 154. They just boat raced the Seattle Kraken. I did not like. Now Washington's home. We'll see. I'm interested. This one I would probably stay away from. Not sure I trust Washington. It'll definitely be Charlie Lindgren.
I don't go against Washington after a loss. They just don't lose after a loss. And St. Louis
really good at home too.
I think they're coming in all fat and sassy because they beat a Seattle team like that. I'd have to look. I'll go over the stats, see how they are after a blowout.
We got to get Emerald City on too. We got to get the Emerald City boys on again. Talk to them.
But Washington after a loss, I'm not going against it. So it's Washington for me in regulation.
All right, Rico, how you feeling?
I'm totally with Pearlo. I'm totally with Pearlo there. I think an under game. I think Benton's been playing well coming out of the Four Nations well too, but. A while back, I picked the Blues to make the playoffs, and I'm still going to kind of hinder a bit of hope on there. I know there's a lot of trade talk in St. Louis lately, not rebuild, but might move some pieces. You see Shen, even Parayko.
I think that these are off-season moves to me.
Yeah.
I just feel like off-season moves. You can't move players of that stature and that salary cap out at the trade deadline. There's just no way because the talent you're going to want back, I just feel like it's not going to work. I hope you're right, Jim. I hope Ovi scores 2. That'd be awesome. I honestly wouldn't care if they won if he scored 2. The Capitals are winning the Metro, and they're probably winning the East. So I'm really not too stressed. They'd have to completely fall apart, which they're not going to do. So, I mean, they missed Ovechkin for 16 games and just did fine. So, yeah. You like the Blues here, Rico, at plus 154
No,
then?
no, I don't like the Blues. I like the under. I think it's just a bit of a low scoring game because Binnington's been playing well too, and he's got some confidence. And I
Sure.
think St. Louis is going to make the playoffs, so they're going to play some tight games down the stretch, I think.
Okay. All right. Sabres, Hurricanes. Sabres, Hurricanes. Man, the Sabres have been playing fairly decent, and the Hurricanes have not looked good at all since the break is back. And they did have some guys.
I wanted to take the Sabres here at plus 190. I'm still chewing on it, but the thing is, this series in the last 10 games, the home team has won every single time,
and it's in Carolina.
It's in Carolina, and Carolina. Okay, they haven't looked good, but at home, they've been like 5-6 in their last 7 or something like that. Yeah. And Buffalo struggled on the road. I mean, it would be huge for Buffalo. If there was a time for Buffalo to break that, this would be now because they're on a roll right now. But I don't think I can get there. But I do like the over. I do think there's going to be goals in this game. I don't think this is going to be a tight game. I think they're going to go out and see if they can skate with Carolina. And I do think there'll be goals. So I like the over one first period and the over 6.
All right. I'm going to let Rico finish that up, and then you guys get on to these next games here. Flyers, okay. Jets.
Sure.
And Flyers, Penguins. Again, another game. I think the Flyers probably crush them again, and then the Predators, Jets. Just give me one moment. I have to take a pause here.
No problem.
So I'll let you guys talk about it.
Carolina 4-3, Jim Johnson. That sounds right. Sounds good. Hopefully in regulation. Maybe you can throw a little draw there. All right, what do we got next, Rico?
I guess Flyers, Penguins. I mean, Nedeljkovic came up to the media, I guess, in the interview after last game, and he just didn't throw it on any of his players and said, I played horrible. But, I mean, when you get pounded that bad.
Yeah, well, it was
a little bit, but
5 goals on 13 shots. I mean, my gosh, it's too bad. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Pittsburgh kind of bounces back here.
Feels like a bounce back spot, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. They're not going to get pulled.
I don't know. I just like the last game went over. Maybe this one's an under. Maybe a draw. I could see a draw. I could see it's not really my favorite. But yeah, I would probably lean Pittsburgh, I guess. But it's not.
What about Nedeljkovic shutout at plus like 8 million?
Yeah, he has a big game this time. And Philly, are they going to go back with Harrison? Again, on this one, I imagine they will. I think it'll be actually a good game to watch because it's like sort of like gives them both something to play for right now. I kind of lean. I think a draw would be a good thing here, and I think Pittsburgh's also going to come out hard early. So like maybe Pittsburgh first period would be good. Pittsburgh first period.
Yeah. That sounds like a good bet. I mean, these teams throw lawn darts at each other. They play each other all the time. So, I think Pittsburgh's going to come out, try to assert themselves a little bit early after that embarrassment.
Is it a 5.5 again? If it is, I'll probably go the over again. I just.
Where'd you guys leave off here? Sorry.
No, it was a 6. Okay, so no, never mind that. All right, we just did Pittsburgh, Philly. We're going to Winnipeg, Nashville now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how you pick Nashville in anything right now.
No.
Holy moly, especially after Luke Schenn just called out his team. You got a defensive defenseman basically calling out his team for what the hell's going on. And Luke Schenn's a pretty good statesman around the league. He's not just going to go out there and say shit. I think he's well-liked around the NHL. And apparently Nashville, I haven't watched a ton of their games, but he was criticizing like teams like a one-and-done team. If they get a scoring chance, there's nobody going to the net. There's no rebounds. If Nashville gets a chance, they have one chance, and then it's back the other way.
I will tell you, I thought what Luke Schenn said was pretty inflammatory, to be quite frank, compared to what Seth Jones said. And Seth Jones got raked through the coals for it, and nobody said shit about Luke Schenn. So I sometimes tell you, you can just hear the bias.
Well, it's $800K a year compared to what, 9?
No, I think he makes $3 million, like 3.5.
Luke Schenn?
Luke Schenn makes like $3.5 million. Hold on.
Yeah.
We just were looking at it yesterday.
I think it
Yeah.
also has to do with defensive defensemen and a Jones who's perceived to be horrible defensively. I think
It's zero help on that Chicago team. I mean, you could argue that Luke Schenn plays on a much better defensive team with Roman Josi and Jeremy Lozon and Andreas Eklund. There's some decent, I mean, compared to Chicago, not hard to beat Chicago. Yeah, Luke Schenn makes $275.
Yeah, that's still Jones makes 10 million, 9.5,
No.
9.5 million.
Yeah, that's. I don't think what you make should have anything.
It should, but it does.
We kill these guys for not saying stuff, and then
I've
when
had
they
that
do say
argument
something,
with people now for a while. Jones is
Seth
she's
Jones
a little
makes
overpaid,
9.5.
but he's
He
still
makes
a good
9.5.
rate team. Solid rate.
Yeah, he's 9.5. I mean, he wants to win. He should have been on Team USA. I mean, he's that good. He has that kind of talent. He just hasn't been on a good team for 8 years.
Sure.
And remember, Stan Bowman made that deal, not the current general manager. So let's see if we get. I would like to see him on a good team. Let's see him on the Dallas Stars.
Absolutely. Well, he's basically saying the right stuff right now. Seth Jones.
Well,
he's basically going to be gone.
I heard before he said anything that he was being shopped anyway. Like they were trying to shop him. I've heard Florida and Dallas are two teams that are looking to try to get him. Florida needs to add to their offensive depth too. I don't know where they're at with right shot D, and Chicago, they need some picks. They've got 2 first rounders this year. They could use another one. And I don't think Florida has much to give though. That's the problem. I think Dallas has a lot to give. But you got to be able to fit that salary in. So that's the thing. Is Jim Nill going to jump all over it? I think if you're Dallas, your window isn't closing, but you need to make some strides. And I think you can get rid of one of those left shot D. You just have to decide who it is. To me, I think it's Bichelle. Bichelle is the guy I think you can afford to get rid of. He doesn't fit your development timeline with where you're at with the rest of your team. So that's just me because, if you get Sagan back in for the playoffs, I don't know, Johnny Gaudreau. I don't know. That's an interesting one. I think if it's the price is right. To me, I don't want to pay Bennett too much money. The way he plays, those guys break down. I think 7.5 is probably the limit for me on a guy like Sam Bennett. And look, Sam Bennett, not going to put up a ton of points for you in the regular season, but what he's going to do for you in the playoffs is going to make that 7.5 worth a lot. So, what's he make now? Like 4? So he doesn't make
an
a ton.
awesome defensive player too. He's very good all around. Puts up points. He's a good player to have. All right, but I think they're also preparing Lundell for that spot too. So we'll see what happens there.
Right, but hard to replace a guy like Sam Bennett for sure.
Yeah, you're not going to replace all of Sam Bennett with Lundell.
I mean, didn't they have like the second, third? Like they had 3 of the top 4 picks from that draft year on that Florida team, did they not? So I think last year anyway. So, okay. Where are we at here? You guys give your Jets Preds picks. How you feeling?
Yeah, it's Winnipeg until they lose.
I'll take Winnipeg for sure, and I'll go the over on that one too.
I mean, the Preds. Even if you took the Preds at plus 102, that's no incentive. Like I don't even like that line. So
that's all it's getting is 102. I'm not looking at the lines. There's no.
Yeah, plus 102. Yeah, plus 102 for the Preds. The Wild Utah Hockey Club plus 130 for the Wild on the road. Utah got to keep winning too. But they've got Dursey back. They got their full comp. They got a lot of players back now. They look like they're gonna maybe do something here.
At that price, I'll just take a good road team against an inconsistent home team. At that price, you got to take Minnesota or nothing.
I'm almost begging you to take Minnesota. It's almost a fishy line, actually. It's
yeah.
Like, I can't believe it's plus 130 to tell you the honest truth, but
I take Minnesota.
The only thing that scares me about that is it seems like they're begging you to take Minnesota. They might know something I don't, but Eck is out. That makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah, I mean, good God, dude, that guy cannot stay on the ice, and it just sucks. They need him, and they don't have Kaprizov. he's been out for a while. I don't know when they're getting him back. So,
Yeah. They
yeah.
just barely beat Chicago. Now you got Minnesota coming in. So,
well, speaking of which, next game, Chicago Vegas Golden Knights plus 310 for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah.
The Chicago Blackhawks beat the Vegas Golden Knights in Vegas. The only person to bet on this is Chicago. You're not betting minus 395, right? On the Vegas Golden Knights. That means you got to bet $395 to win $100.
Well, if history suggests, Chicago did beat them mid-January. So
I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Rico?
You know what? It's Chicago or nothing here, even plus 1.5. So maybe get a bit of a gritty effort after the comments, and they're going to respond one way or the other. So
Chicago lost 2-1 to Utah. It's not like they got destroyed. So that's not a terrible game. I could see them losing by a goal. Vegas has been kind of streaky when it comes to goal scoring.
Theodore's banged up. Carlson's banged up.
They're gonna miss him.
A team that can just outwork a team in Vegas and just keep it close.
Do they get Mikko Rantanen? That's the interesting one. I think they could be the real team that gets Mikko Rantanen. What do they give up for?
Between them and LA, I still think LA might be in there. But what do they got next? What does Vegas have next? I'm trying to find a reason to take Chicago here, but they're so bad. They're so bad. I don't think I'm going to touch it. I just don't think I'm going to touch the game. Very, very seldom do I say that, but I'll probably leave it alone.
Please no, Crowbar says. Crowbar, please no. Yeah, please no to Rantanen to Vegas. I don't know, though. They always make those moves. See, LA only has about $2.3 million in cap space. If they trade Byfield, which, by the way, Byfield, $6 million, 2.5. He's 22.
Dude, there's no way LA comes off Byfield. He's learning.
I said the same thing to Hot Take Hockey, but he said
in the game right now.
But he said if you could get Rantanen, I don't know.
The only way you trade Byfield is if you're going to play Rantanen at center, and he can play center.
Well, they don't even have Byfield listed as a center. They have Byfield playing at the wing. Byfield's playing left wing, right wing for the Kings.
I know, but they want him to play center, and he's not.
Well, he's not.
Seem to be doing well playing center. So it makes sense that if they watch those Colorado games when McKinnon was out, and they saw how well he did there, they could be looking at him as a center, and they could be thinking to themselves, you know what? That's what we want Byfield to be. So we already get what we want Byfield to be for what we're probably would pay Byfield if he was that. So they may look at it that way and say, you can have Byfield.
Yeah, but Byfield's signed till 28, 29. So it's not like they're in a crunch that they have to pay
That's
him.
True. It's not a bad deal it's not a bad deal at $6 million with the cap.
If he doesn't perform, though, it's a horrible deal. So that's the thing too. What are you getting?
It all depends on if they think he's going to make it or not.
I think the thing you would say is Rantanen's a proven commodity. BTD Roquatic, I don't know, man. I think they might add. We'll see. You have a Edmonton Oiler in your profile picture, but you're a Columbus Blue Jackets fan, huh? Get you a Rick Nash photo or something in there. Okay, last game of the night is Vancouver, who's up tonight. They're playing the Ducks. The Ducks are plus 130. I've liked how the Ducks are playing. I have not hated any game. They have not been out of any games as of late. They're looking solid. What do you guys think?
Here, you're gonna get Seeloss in net. Demko's on the IR. What's going on with him? Yeah, I like Anaheim in his spot. Going back to it, did we pick Columbus, Detroit?
Yeah.
Oh, did we? Did we miss that game? Was there a Columbus Detroit game?
Maybe. We
didn't.
That's right, we didn't.
Okay, well we'll finish up with that.
Okay.
Columbus, Detroit.
I like Anaheim here. Anaheim's been playing very well.
The only thing I don't like about it is the first game off an Eastern road trip, but Vancouver's on a back-to-back, so I'd only take them at plus money for sure. Yeah. But Detroit, I'll give that to you because I was just stewing over that game before we got on here, so I'll give that to you, Rico. You can help me out.
The CBJ game. Okay, so Columbus getting some players back. They're getting healthy. Like there's a lot of guys skating on that team right now. Another
Yeah,
thing,
Jenner's
too,
back.
is,
Branson, they're getting back.
yeah, another thing too is Columbus on their Twitter site, they posted it. It's their mom's trip. They're starting, and it looks like Johnny Hockey's mom's on the trip too. So
Yeah, she is. Yep.
this is an amazing story. I'm going to cheer for Columbus, and
Yeah.
you know I love the Wings. I think.
Yeah, I'm rooting
Oh,
for
okay,
Columbus. I'm going to root
that's
for
easy
Columbus
to-
in Columbus for the stadium game. But I think the one thing I would say is, if you're the Blue Jackets and Red Wings, you're both in those final 2 wide cards. You just need to get points every game at this point. So this is what I think. Yeah, I'm definitely rooting for the Blue Jackets, man. I'll tell you right now, if they played the Caps in the first round and they beat the Caps, I'd be like, oh well, big deal, awesome. Johnny Gaudreau, wings of an angel, man. So I'm not
Yeah, it
stressed
kind
at
of
all.
gives you that feeling of, you know, that fate feeling with what's going on there in Columbus and that extra oomph and everything. I mean, who knows what they can do?
Yeah.
It's a different year, man. It's the hockey community coming together, and whoever you cheer for, whoever you love, whoever is your favorite team, when it comes to something like this, you can't compare it to anything out there. So you just wish for the best for the Blue Jackets, whether you're a fan of them or not, wherever you live, whatever.
Yeah, I'll be quite frank. I don't know that they're this good if Goudreau's in the lineup for them. It's crazy. Goodbranson, Monahan, and Chinnikov all still out and could come back for them before the end of the season too. That's a really nice trade deadline acquisition, especially the way Monahan was playing earlier in the year. So pretty good stuff. Yeah. Well, that's it for the show. We've got Twisted Wrister tomorrow. I appreciate you guys. Anybody have any final parting thoughts? We'll have tomorrow will be our last show of the week. No show on Friday. We're probably going to no shows on Friday going forward until the playoffs. So just only 3 games Friday. There's not a huge game of only 19 games over the weekend. So pretty good stuff. Yep, let's go Red Wings, says Jim. I can't believe we're the 3rd last in the NHL to make the possible playoffs. I don't know, who do you root for there? You talking Blue Jackets or? All right, boys. Thanks. Appreciate you.
See you later, everybody.
Everybody have a good one.